They must be migrating south.
It's only the weight of a paperclip. Its wings are as thin as a whisper and more fragile than silk. It has no map, no GPS, no guide, and yet somehow, year after year, it completes one of the longest and most precise migrations on Earth. A migration so vast, so grueling, so improbable, that even the greatest land mammals in the world would never dare to do it. This is the monarch butterfly, a creature so common in gardens and parks that most of us overlook it entirely. But underneath its orange and black wings lies one of the greatest biological mysteries in the world. The monarch isn't just a pretty pollinator. It's a chemically armed, genetically programmed, multi-generational, metamorphic marvel. A creature that transforms completely, not just once, but in waves. It can taste with its feet, see ultraviolet light, and survive by eating poison. It navigates thousands of kilometers without ever having made the journey before. Its entire life is a science fiction epic told in slow motion across seasons, landscapes, and generations. This is the monarch butterfly, a fragile creature that defies the limits of biology and the imagination of science. Born from a leaf no larger than a fingernail, it grows, transforms, and takes to the sky to complete one of the most epic journeys in the animal kingdom. But how can such a delicate insect travel thousands of miles to a place it's never seen? What drives its deep-rooted need to migrate? How does its body know when to morph, mate, or metamorphosize? And how, in a world dominated by predators, poisons, and climate change, does the monarch butterfly still manage to persist? The answers lie inside its fragile body, in the very structure of its wings, the chemistry of its cells, and the story of its astonishing transformation from crawling caterpillar to gliding king of the skies. The longest insect migration on Earth. Every fall, millions of monarch butterflies begin a migration that spans up to 4,800 kilometers or 3,000 miles. They leave their breeding grounds in Canada and the northern United States and fly to a tiny patch of forest in Central America. A journey no single individual has ever made before. No parent leads the way. No one teaches them the route. And yet, they arrive in precisely the same mountaintops in the forests, sometimes even landing on the exact trees as their ancestors. This phenomenon, still poorly understood, is called natal homing, and it's one of the most precise biological navigations in the animal kingdom. But this migration isn't made by just one generation. It takes 4 or 5 generations of monarchs to complete the full annual cycle. Generation 1 through 3 live just 2 to 6 weeks. They breed, lay eggs, and continue the journey northward. Generation 4, the Methuselah generation, lives up to 8 months. It does not reproduce immediately, but undertakes the southbound migration to Mexico. These long-lived monarchs overwinter in Mexico's high-altitude forests, entering a state of semi-dormancy. Then, in the spring, they begin the journey north, reproduce, and die, passing the baton to the next generation. This relay race biology, with its staggered timing and programmed behavior, is unmatched in the insect world. It's a form of generational memory, written in the DNA and physiology. Metamorphosis and the science of becoming. The monarch doesn't just grow, it becomes something entirely new. The life cycle of the monarch butterfly includes 4 stages: egg, larvae or caterpillar, pupa, and adult butterfly. Within just 10 to 14 days, a caterpillar can grow 2,000 times its original mass, shedding its skin 5 times as it fattens. Its only job during this stage: eat milkweed, its sole food source, and store enough energy for transformation. Then, it finds a quiet spot and performs one of the most mind-bending biological feats known to science: complete metamorphosis. In this chalice, the caterpillar dissolves its own body, using enzymes to break down the tissue into a biological soup. Within this liquid, clusters of dormant stem cells called imaginal discs awaken. These cells rebuild the body into an entirely new organism, forming wings, antennae, compound eyes, and a coiled proboscis. Essentially, a crawling, chewing, leaf-eating insect liquefies itself and is reborn as a flying, sipping, flower-visiting adult. Metamorphosis is more than change. It's a biological reincarnation. Eating poison to survive. If you eat a monarch butterfly, you'll regret it. And if you're a bird, you might even die. Monarch caterpillars feed exclusively on milkweed, a plant that contains potent toxins that disrupt heart function. Most animals avoid milkweed entirely, but monarchs, they embrace it. Over millions of years, they evolved cellular pumps that allow them to tolerate the toxin and even store it in their tissues. This makes caterpillars and adults chemically defended against predators. Birds that try eating monarchs often vomit violently and remember the experience, learning to avoid orange and black butterflies thereafter. This strategy, called aposematism, uses bright warning colors to avoid danger. It's one of evolution's most elegant defense mechanisms. Even more astonishing, monarchs can sequester different levels of toxins depending on the species of milkweed they eat. Some milkweed plants are more potent than others. Monarchs instinctively select the right species for the best protection, balancing survival with digestibility. And they're not alone. Viceroy butterflies, which are harmless, have evolved a mimic monarch coloration. This is Batesian mimicry, where a harmless species imitates a dangerous one to fool predators. But some evidence suggests viceroys may be mildly toxic, creating a complex Mullerian mimicry ring of mutual defense. Senses beyond human reach. A monarch butterfly may be tiny, but it senses the world in ways we can barely comprehend. Their compound eyes are made of up to 6,000 facets, each a miniature lens that together form a mosaic of light and motion. Monarchs can see ultraviolet or UV light, which allows them to spot nectar guides on flowers invisible to us. They also use UV cues to identify mates and navigate under the sun. But their most remarkable sensory ability is perhaps in their antennae. Embedded with light-sensitive proteins, monarch antennae act like biological compasses, detecting the angle of polarized light in the sky to determine direction. This helps guide their long migrations. Even when disorientated, monarchs can recalibrate their compass based on the sun's position, thanks to an internal circadian clock located to their brains and antennae. And let's not forget their feet. Monarchs taste through them. Specialized chemoreceptors allow butterflies to detect sugars and toxins by standing on a surface. This is how females identify the right species of milkweed for egg laying, by literally walking on leaves and sampling their chemistry. A genetic blueprint for epic journeys. Monarch butterflies didn't just wake up one day and decide to migrate. Their incredible navigational ability and seasonal physiology are genetically encoded. In fact, when scientists compared the genomes of migratory and non-migratory monarch populations, they found that entire gene suites responsible for flight muscle performance, energy metabolism, and neural processing were more active in migratory monarchs. The monarch's wings, for instance, are longer and narrower in the migratory generations, engineered by evolution for aerodynamic efficiency. The genes that govern their structure are upregulated before migration begins, turning each butterfly into a tiny glider capable of harnessing rising thermals to soar across the vast landscapes with minimal effort. Even more astonishing, researchers have discovered that monarchs possess gene-sensitive magnetoreception, the ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field. While this system is still being unraveled, early findings suggest that monarchs may use both sunlight and geomagnetic cues to stay on course, like having both a compass and a map inside their heads. And this isn't just theoretical. Monarchs that have been bred in captivity and thus lack environmental triggers like natural sunlight often fail to migrate properly, further suggesting that behavior, brain function, and environmental interaction must all align to unlock this ancient inherited journey. Dodging death, the art of staying alive. Weighing less than $1, monarch butterflies are extraordinarily vulnerable. Yet they've survived predators, storms, deforestation, and even pesticide exposure through a combination of strategy, chemistry, and timing. As caterpillars, their reliance on milkweed provides more than food. It gives them a built-in defense. The carotenoids they sequester, poison most, would be predators. But that's not all. Even as butterflies, monarchs continue to exude bitterness throughout their bodies. Birds like blue jays learn fast to avoid their flashy colors after a single bite. But in places where milkweed is scarce, monarchs are more vulnerable. In these regions, they may be mimicked by species like the Viceroy butterfly, or mistaken for toxic ones themselves. This mimicry web creates a confusion for predators, adding another layer of protection. Beyond toxins, monarchs evade death with seasonal timing. Their multi-generational migration allows them to outrun winter by moving south, while early generations move north just as spring plants emerge. This ecological choreography ensures each generation arrives when the environment is most favorable. But when timing gets disrupted by early frost, habitat loss, or climate change, the whole system falters. A brain that knows the way. Monarch brains are roughly the size of a sesame seed, yet they perform feats of navigation that rival high-tech instruments. How? Inside their tiny heads lie a neural structure called the central complex, which integrates sun position, circadian rhythm, and directional input from their antennae. This structure possesses sky polarization patterns, which change based on the sun's angle, allowing the monarch to track direction, even on cloudy days. The antennae contain timing neurons, synchronized with the sun's movement, allowing monarchs to adjust their compass as the sun travels across the sky. This sun-compass integration is so precise that even subtle changes, like placing a monarch in a light box with altered day cycles, can completely skew its navigation. In short, they don't just sense the world, they calculate within it. What's more, monarchs that lose one antennae veer off course. But if the antennae is restored, or even replaced with another, their sense of direction reboots, suggesting the brain can recalibrate to new input with surprising speed. This shows us that monarchs are not mindless flyers. They're active processors of space, time, and light, flying thousands of kilometers with precision that defies their size. An empire in collapse. Despite their resilience, monarch butterflies are now in trouble. Over the last 30 years, their population has plummeted by over 80% in North America. The biggest threats? Habitat loss, partially the deforestation of overwinterizing sites in Mexico and illegal logging in the forests. Milkweed decline, caused by widespread use of herbicides in the US and Canada, which decimates the only plant monarch caterpillars can eat. Climate change, which disrupts migration timing, causing unseasonal storms and increases mortality during overwintering. Urbanization, which fragments breeding corridors, isolating populations and making the journey even harder. While international conservation efforts are underway, including rewilding corridor and milkweed planting campaigns, the monarch's survival hinges on a delicate network of countries, climates, and communities all working together. In 2022, the migratory monarch was officially listed as endangered by the IUCN. A wake-up call, not just about the butterfly, but about the fragility of natural cycles. A cultural icon with biological brilliance. The monarch isn't just a scientific wonder. It's also a symbol of transformation, migration, and mystery in cultures around the world. In Mexican culture, monarch butterflies are believed to carry the soul of the dead. Their arrival coincides with the Day of the Dead, around November 1st. In many villages near their overwintering grounds, locals celebrate their return as the spiritual homecoming of loved ones. In North America, monarchs are taught in classrooms as a metaphor for growth and metamorphosis. In indigenous lore, they're messengers of brilliance, guides between worlds. And in environmental activism, they've become canaries in the ecological coal mine, a species whose fate reflects the health of our landscapes. The monarch's journey is more than migration. It's pilgrimage, encoded in muscle, wing, and instinct. The butterfly that shouldn't exist. By all logic, the monarch butterfly shouldn't be able to do what it does. It shouldn't be able to fly thousands of kilometers without training or maps. It shouldn't be able to liquefy itself, rewire its body, and emerge with wings. It shouldn't survive eating poison or use that poison to make itself stronger. It shouldn't be able to steer by sunlight, sense the Earth's magnetic field, or plan its life across 4 generations. But it does. Because the monarch isn't built on logic, it's built on evolution's strangest and most beautiful rules. It is a paper-thin creature carrying a 3,000-mile story in every cell, a story of survival, of change, and of memory deeper than any map. In a world of steel, glass, and noise, it floats silently past us, reminding us what's possible when biology bends the rules. The monarch butterfly is not just a creature, it's a miracle in motion. And that was the biology and the anatomy of the monarch butterflies.